everybody! I'm here today to talk to you about 8 tips for driving safely in fog. That's right, I'll be going over 8 simple tips that will allow you to safely drive in the fog. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Tip number 1 is slow down. Now, when it's foggy outside, I consider that to be weather conditions that are not ideal. Whenever you are driving in weather conditions that are not ideal, you have to slow down, okay? And I say this a million times, but people still get into accidents because they're driving too fast in the snow, too fast in the rain, too fast in the fog, too fast in the hail, blah, blah, blah. So just slow down. Literally, take your speed and just decrease it. Like, legitimately just slow down. It's as simple as that. Okay, tip number 2 is going to be turn on your headlights and your fog lights if your car has fog lights. So obviously every car has headlights, so turn on those headlights. And if your car has fog lights, you're gonna wanna turn those on as well. This will help to illuminate the area in front of you, but the main reason that you're turning those on is, yes, so that you can see, but really it's so that people can see you, so that other drivers can see you. By turning on your headlights and your fog lights, you are more likely to be seen, therefore less likely to get into an accident. Tip number 3 is don't use your high beams. Many people think that the high beams illuminate more area in front of them, and yes, they do in regular weather conditions, but you see, fog has little moisture droplets inside of it, little water droplets inside of it, okay? And your high beams, when you turn them on in the fog, will actually reflect off of those water droplets and shine back at you. So it will actually hinder your ability to be seen, and it'll also hinder your ability to see. So it's gonna hinder your ability to be seen by other drivers, and also lessen your ability to actually see the road in front of you because of the reflection. So don't use your high beams. Stick with your headlights and your fog lights, like I said before. So that was tip number 3, high beams. Do not use your high beams was tip number 3. Tip number 4 is focus on the road. It is absolutely crucial that when you are driving in the fog, especially, that you focus on the road. Obviously, focusing on the road is important all the time, whenever you're driving, but definitely when you're driving in the fog, because it is an adverse weather condition. It is a weather condition that is not ideal, okay? And you gotta get your focus on the road. So that means, you know, put all of your distractions away and focus on the road, okay? Tip number 5 is make sure that your tail lights are on and working properly. So basically, your tail lights, just like your headlights, will allow you to be seen by other drivers. If you don't want to get rear-ended in the fog, make sure your tail lights are on and make sure they're working properly, as well as your brake lights. So do whatever you need to do to make sure that, number 1, that you've turned them on, and number 2, that they're all working properly. Because being seen, especially from behind, will massively, massively, massively decrease the likelihood of you getting into an accident, especially getting rear-ended. So that was tip number 5. Tip number 6 is pull over if the fog is really bad. And I have a personal story to share with you right over here, okay? So I was on a very long road trip with my wife and our kids, and it was about almost 40 hours of total driving time. And we were passing through this hill area with almost 40 hours of driving. That's a lot of driving. We were passing through this hill area, and it just got unbelievably foggy. I've never driven in this much fog, and at first it was bad, but I could definitely manage it. But then it was so bad that I had to pull over, but not onto the side of the road, because then you might get hit. Like, I had to pull over off of the road, far off of the road, off of the area where people were driving in the fog, and just wait, you know, just a little bit until it cleared up enough to continue. We didn't wait long. I don't know how long it was, but it wasn't long at all. But then it cleared up enough that I felt comfortable continuing. Now, that's obviously only if it's really bad, but if it's really bad, don't be afraid to pull over. Don't pull over on the road, like pull into a parking lot or something like that. Or else if you pull over on the road, you know, you might get rear-ended. It's as simple as that, or your car might get hit. So that was tip number 6. Tip number 7 is increase your following distance significantly. Now, believe it or not, following distance, or lack of proper following distance, I should say, is one of the main reasons why people get into accidents. They just drive too close to the car in front of them. It's literally as simple as that. What you want to do is However close you're driving to the car in front of you, you want to increase that significantly, massively. So take that distance and double it. Like really give them some distance, because if the fog is really bad, it's going to be really hard for you to see when they're braking and to brake on time. And then if you have to slam your brakes because you're following them too closely, the person behind you is more likely to rear end you, and the person behind them is more likely to rear end them, and blah, 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 blah. So just increase your following distance. It is as simple as that. Last but not least is the 8th and final tip for driving safely in the fog for this video, and that is to use your wipers and your defogger to clear your windshield. Now, obviously your wipers are going to get rid of that moisture that, like I said, moisture is in the fog. They're going to get rid of that moisture that accumulates on your windshield, but your defogger is super important, because what's worse than driving in the fog is driving in the fog with a foggy windshield, okay? And a lot of drivers, I personally know drivers that have had their license for like 30, 40, 50 years, and they still don't know how to properly defog the windshield. So learn how to use it, as well as, you know, use it, but learn how to use it as well. Sorry about that. Just getting over a cold. And that's it. Those are 8 tips for safely driving in the fog. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.